Hello everyone. Ability Enhancement Compulsory Course for BA third year in the Shivaji University affiliated colleges. We have the textbook, the Ability Enhancement Compulsory Course for the semester 5th. In that actually book, there is one unit in the module 1. That unit is called as a interview skill. We are going to understand in detail what are the different techniques and tactics we have to understand in order to get a good success in the interview, because writing examination in the paper, in examination with a theory paper is a different skill, and to face the people in interview panel it is a different skill. So it is a some different systems, the methods, the techniques and tactics we need to find to get a success, okay, for the interview. So this is very important unit the Shivaji University has prescribed for the third year student. After completion of their graduation, they may face different interviews at government and non-government organizations, any multinational companies or any limited companies. You need to understand how to face the interviews in a very systematic manner, or different techniques and tactics we need to find to get a success in the interview. So that interview skill we are going to understand in detail. What is that exactly? Some basic preparations we need to follow. Number one, that from the beginning only, when we get the interview call, okay, the day, time, the place, or that is a venue of that particular interview, we need to remember, we need to write it somewhere, and we need to again and again remember, because some people are making mistakes in the time, the date, the day and place also. So therefore we need to prepare properly. Suppose your interview is somewhere in Mumbai, so from Kolhapur to Mumbai we need to plan something before 2 days or 3 days, the reservation or some other arrangement we need to follow. So the things are very important from the beginning only, the call for the interview, and we need to understand properly what is the day, the date, the time, the venue, the place of the interview. So this is a very important aspect. We are taking it very lightly, but we should not take it lightly. We need to prepare from the beginning only with this some important aspects. The second one thing is that our resume must be very effective one, because what you wrote in the resume, that makes a difference. Why? Because your interview is going to be just around the different things what you just mention in the resume. So it may be your qualification, your experience, your different achievements in the college level, graduation level, post graduation level, or some other activities what you did in the whole educational career. So that everything they might ask you different questions, and they're just trying to get the overall personality of this particular character they are trying to understand, the candidate they are trying to understand at the time of interview. So that everything we need to make it very impressive in the resume. The third thing is that the document file, if they demand an original document file, okay, scrutiny if they want to make at the time of interview, the document file must be in a very proper order. It must be properly just filed in a order, in a proper manner, okay, from a very systematic order. For example, from SSC, HSC, graduation, post graduation, technical qualifications, the degree certificates. After that, if any other experience certificate is there, it must be attached there, it must be kept there in proper manner. So that interview panel, they must be able to observe it very easily, so that easily they can handle such a properly we need to handle, or we need to properly maintain our document, original document file. After that, okay, there must be a proper dress style, hairstyle, shoes at the time of interview. This is very important, because your the formal dress, we need to understand that our dress must be formal one. It must be not new one, not necessary, but it must be at least properly washed and properly pressed. Okay, that formal dress we need to follow. We need to understand the color of the dress must be not very dark. It must be something which is very formal. It should not create any wrong impact on the interview panel. Even so the technical qualification what you wrote in that, or what you just mentioned in the particular resume, okay, we need to prepare properly, because they might ask you if you write something about your computer knowledge, or you write something about some typing skill or steno skill or some other technical ideas, if you have mentioned, then definitely they are going to just have some practical work of that particular work, particular qualification before the interview panel. So we need to prepare properly. If you mention any technical qualifications in that resume, prepare for mention hobby, interest, sports and extracurricular activity. This is very important, because these are the very very minor matter, that something easily we are writing, okay, what are hobbies, what are interests, and what are extracurricular activity. For example, if I have completed my NSS, National Service Scheme, or National Cadet course, that is NCC at the time of college, or any cultural participation, or any extracurricular activities like if you participate somewhere in youth festival, or some central youth festival, at a national level youth festival, or any sports competition. So any such things what you mentioned there, it must be very very important, because this interview panel, they are trying to check, okay, what is your performance in that particular extracurricular activities, NSS, NCC, sports, cultural department, or hobbies and interests. Just if you mention that I'm habitual, or I have a hobby to read, or I'm habitual to watch the cricket match, so they might have a different questions on the cricket, and which you are not able to exactly answer them. So while writing, you just get the proper information of that particular hobby or interest what you wrote there. Or if suppose if you just mention that I'm habitual to, or I'm having hobby to read, then they ask question, what you are reading, Hindi, Marathi, or English. If it is Marathi, tell me the different novelists in Marathi, dramatists in the Marathi, or the short story writer in Marathi, or the travelogues in Marathi. Different kind of questions they raise. So therefore, while you are mentioning everything in a resume, just like hobbies, interests, sports, extracurricular activities, we need to be very cautious, we need to be very careful about them. And if you mention it, then we need to properly prepare for that before interview. And definitely, what is your personal information, for example, the family background, your village, your place, native place, and the total family background, your father, your mother, your brother, the total values and cultures and principles, that everything they try to understand with the help of the different thing which you mentioned about your personal information in the resume. So they will try to get the information okay, about your family and everything. So write it carefully, properly understand. For example, if you wrote something about your native place, so they might ask you about the geographical importance of your native place, historical importance about your native place, or some other related information. Therefore, we need to be very cautious, we need to be very careful regarding, okay, the information about the personal information what you mentioned in the resume. That is very important. Even we need to have some sufficient homework regarding what the questions of the interview. Just for example, okay, what is the company you have selected for the job, or where you have applied for that job. We need to properly get the information about that company, and it's a very easy nowadays. If you go to internet and if you search, if you surf that particular website, you will get the very interesting information about that company, the production, their marketing strategies, and okay, that every detailed information easily it is available on internet. So we need to do a very good homework on that. We need to take a proper notes of that, and we need to understand if you are going somewhere in the company which is a piston company, or so we need to understand, okay, where it produce, or where the market of that particular company, and the different important aspects about that. So it's a very important. So this homework we need to understand, even what is the vision of the company, mission of the company, structure of the company, products of the company, services, growth, and finances. So financial condition, okay, the services they are providing to the society, how the growth of the company is there, or what are the exact products there in the company, or what is the structure of that company, the hierarchy. For example, the general manager, the HR department, the production department, and that maintenance department. There are different marketing departments, the store department, the finance department. So all these different sections are there. So that structure we need to understand. Okay, with the help of website or any other related material is available in the market. Go to internet, search there. After googling, you will get the different information about that particular website. So that proper homework must be there. That properly we need to understand what is the exact information about that company. After that, we need to collect adequate information about the nature of the job for which you have applied, and revised by collecting additional information, and know the nature of the organization. So that is also very important, that while you are applying, okay, for any job, we need to understand what is the nature of the job, what are the duties, and what are the different services you have to provide the company, and what are the responsibilities you have to face in the company. So that you need to prepare properly, because they might ask you some questions regarding that. So we need to prepare it properly, and we need to collect the information from some other members, okay, those who are already working with that particular post. Or if you have the same experience of the same post, it will be easy for you. But if suppose if you are a fresh candidate applying for that particular post, that you need to get in a very proper manner what is that particular post, what is the job, what are the duties and what are the activities and what are your responsibilities. If you understand it properly, it will be easy for you to face that particular interview. Refresh your knowledge of the subjects of your specialization at graduation and post graduation. Suppose if you have completed your graduation in economics and post graduation and also in economics, so you need to get a proper information about your graduation and post graduation. You just revise it. If you forget, for example, then we need to remember what are your subjects at a graduation level, okay, what are the different paper, okay, what is the basic information about that. If you forget, just remind it, okay, revise it at the graduation post graduation level. Try to collect the information because they might ask you questions on that particular graduation post graduation level subject over there. If possible, give a mock interview in front of your close friend, well wisher. This will boost your confidence and help you understand weaknesses, because giving interview, it is a different activity and writing examination is a different activity. Therefore, it will be easy for you if you have any mock interview, or it is called as a duplicate interview, or it is a kind of a practice interview if you make or just perform before your friends, or if your close relatives, or if your senior or someone who is very your guide or your mentor. If you perform before them, they might give you some suggestions that you should do this and you should not do this, and you do this and you don't do this. Okay, so this kind of suggestions we are getting from them. So it is very easy for you to face the interview if you face any such a mock interview. Especially students, those who are preparing for UPSC MPSC examination, they are giving such a mock interviews before some institution, and they are trying to prepare themselves in a very perfect manner for that post of their particular where they are just preparing themselves for the examination. So friend, this is very important that we need to give such a mock interview before our friends or before our relatives or before someone who is very guide to you, mentor to you, and try to get a suggestion from them and improve yourself in very next manner, in proper manner. Okay, some do's and don'ts we need to understand. Okay, so what we should not do and what we should do, that we need to understand. This is very simple. If you remember these things in very simple manner, it will be very effective for you to make an effective presentation of yourself in the interview. For example, what are the don'ts? Don't play with your hairs or choose your nails or fingers. It's a very important, because if suppose someone is nervous before the interview panel, if somebody is getting burden, if somebody is getting pressure, okay, so what they will do, they'll try to just hold their hair or choose just their nails or finger before the interview panel. It shows that you are a lack of confidence. Your confidence is not just over there. So therefore, we need to be very confident. You should not perform such kind of activity before the interview panel. Don't play with your hair or your nails or fingers. We need to be very cautious regarding that. Don't wear untidy clothes and don't even dress like a dandy. This is also very important, because your dress must be, I told you already that their dress must be formal one. It must be effective but with color. Okay, I am not just compelling that your dress should be new one. Okay, it must be a old or new, that doesn't matter, but it must be properly washed and pressed. Okay, shoes must be polished. Okay, that proper care must be taken, and it must be actually formal dress. Formal dress, we need to take care of that. And the color of the dress should not be dark and something which is very colorful and it try to attract somebody with the, or it create obstacle in the looking up someone. Such dresses are not actually helpful at the time of interview. If you have a cell phone, just switch it off. Nowadays everyone is carrying with them the cell phone, mobile phone, and if you have a cell phone, if you have any ringtone in that particular mobile phone, it will create obstacles at the time of interview. So better way, just when you go to the interview, just go with the switch it off. Just make a switch it off your mobile phone and then enter the interview room. Don't take plastic bag to carry your certificate. It looks very different, or it looks very awkward if you carry your certificate file in a plastic bag. Therefore, you need to take a bag. Okay, at least the proper a kind of a bag should be there, and the bag we should not carry inside the room, inside the interview room. Okay, so therefore we must carry with that certificate file only. And the plastic bag, if you are carrying with you and just opening before the interview panel and trying to just take out your bag, okay, the certificate from the, it looks very different. So therefore we need to avoid that. Don't wear dirty shoes and chappals. Okay, dirty type of shoes and chappals if you are wearing, it looks awkward. So we need to take care of this. At least I'm not asking, or I'm not compelling, or I'm not saying that you should wear a new one. Just try to get a properly polished shoes. Okay, avoid if any chappal if you have, just try to avoid it at the time of interview. Do not loll in your chair in a relaxed manner or lean back to the chair. See, for example, someone is sitting in before the interview panel in a very lazy manner, sitting in a very awkward way and giving answers in a very lazy manner. It looks that you are not interested for that particular post, and it gives you a wrong impression before the interview panel. Therefore, we need to be very cautious sitting before the interview panel in the chair. We need to sit very straight and properly. Face to face contact should be there. Okay, lazily sitting and giving answer lazily and trying to avoid them, okay, their answers, okay, avoiding to their questions, okay, this it shows very wrong impression of you. Do not try to approach too close to interviewers because it gives very wrong impression about you. So don't go or don't create any kind of acquaintance with them, or just don't ask any information about their relatives and their relations, or don't try to create any influence before them very easily. Don't try to create any influence before them, it will create a harm for you. So therefore this is very important that do not try to approach too close to interviewers. Just try to maintain, there should be a formality, okay, there must be a formal relation between the interviewer and interviewer, okay, those who are giving interview and those who are taking interview, there must be a proper distance between both of them. We should not create any kind of influence before the interview panel. We need to maintain a proper distance between us and between them. That is very important. Or do not put your hands and fumble in your pocket. Do not put your hands in the pocket and you're fumbling your hand. It creates wrong impression. If suppose there are coins in that particular pocket and it creates some sound, it creates some noise, so it is a very wrong impression of you. So it looks very awkward. We need to avoid such kind of incidents over there. Never raise your voice or speak in a hushed tone. We need to maintain proper sound and proper tone of the at the time of interview. And if you make a mismatch of that, okay, then it creates a wrong impression of you before the interview panel. Do not rush to answers. Don't give answer very hurriedly. Just listen the questions very carefully. After listening, just think for 1 minute and then reply it very easily, and speak distantly in normal accent and pause to take your points effectively. While talking, don't talk fast, talk very slowly and give answers very effectively. Take a pause, just think about it and just speak. Okay, it does not mean that you should take a big pause, taking 5 to 10 minutes rest and then giving answer. It doesn't mean, friends, okay, you just take a little pause, think about your question, think about that question, think about the answer and reply and very immediately. But don't talk hurriedly, take a pause and speak very slowly and give them effective reply, but it must be brief. Your reply must be brief, it must be very short, that shortly and briefly we need to reply or we need to respond to the interview panel. Do not make any awkward movements or some awkward moments, somebody who is nervous or someone who is not that much comfortable with the interview panel, or they may have some awkward moments like scratching head, ear or nose, moving hands awkwardly or putting hands or fingers in the mouth. Okay, it happens with someone. If somebody is very shy kind of person, then definitely this kind of things may happen. So we need to avoid such a thing. We need to be very formal before them. It doesn't mean that we should be very pressurized or very burdened before them. Be relaxed, but don't make such any kind of awkward moments. These awkward moments will have your wrong impression before your interview panel. So we need to take a very good care while we are sitting before them. Do not exaggerate about your hobbies or interests. Okay, what you mention, your hobbies and interests in the resume, we should not exaggerate or just do not talk more about it. Okay, just talk very little about it. Do not exaggerate. Okay, the interviewers are intelligent people. And don't be overconfident. And don't be overconfident, my dear friend. Talk truly and talk very briefly. This is very important because your overconfidence will be very harmful for you. It will be very dangerous for you and it will create a wrong impression of you. Do not be nervous if you don't know the answer of the question. Sometimes it may happen. See, my dear friends, that everyone is not knowing every information of the world. It is not happen. An interview is not made to get a knowledge from you. Interview is to observe your personality, your views, your attitude, your approach. So it may happen that some questions are not known to us. So do not be nervous. So don't get nervous if you don't know the answer of the question. Confess it frankly to them. Sorry, sir, I don't know the answer. I was saying, I'm afraid I haven't come across that piece of information, sir. Sorry, sir, I don't know. Please repeat the. Sorry, sir, I don't know. Please pass the question. Okay, in such way you can respond to them. Or I'm afraid I haven't come across that piece of information, sir. In such a way you can reply to them. In such a way you can reply to them, but don't get nervous. Don't take any extra burden. Okay, there are some questions, those who are very difficult, those who are not known to us, those who are not related with us. So it might be a problem with us, but it does not mean that we should lie them or we should give wrong information to them. If you don't know the question's answer, frankly say to them, sorry sir, I don't know the question, or pass the question. Sorry sir, I don't know the information, please pass the question. Okay, in such way you can reply, I'm afraid I haven't come across that piece of information, sir. In such way you can reply. Do not ask about salary during an interview unless the interviewers ask about it. This is very important. See, until and unless the interviewer asks you about the salary expectation, you should not ask a single word about the salary. This is very important, my dear friend, because okay, if you in the beginning only, or if you yourself only, if you are asking about the salary, it will create your wrong impression before the interview panel. You may ask about salary range only after interviewers ask you. Okay, they may ask you a question about the expectations of the salary expectation of you for that particular post. At the time you should reply. Okay, but yourself, you should not start in the beginning for the salary expectation. It will create a wrong impression before the interview panel. Never be opinions in your speech, okay, with the interviewers. Avoid negative talk and expression. No, I am not, haven't, don't, didn't, never. Such expressions are harmful for us at the time of interview. Be positive. While you are facing the interview panel, we need to be very positive, and positively we should talk with them. And such expressions like no, I am not, haven't, don't, didn't, never, such expressions are very harmful, and it will create a wrong impression of you. It will create a negative attitude of that particular candidate for that particular post, and it will have a wrong impression of that person before the interview panel. So be positive while you are facing the interview. Do not say I dislike, instead say I like this lesson than other things. Okay, these expressions are also very harmful, so avoid such kind of expressions. These are the very important thing we need to follow. Some do's we need to follow. What are these do's? Do enter the interview room with a bright and friendly smile. Okay, smile, I say smile, I don't say laugh. I say smile, I don't say laugh. Do the interview room with a bright and friendly smile. Just smile in the cheeks, but not laughing. Okay, you are not permitted to go and laugh before the interview panel without any reason. If you are laughing before anyone without any reason, it shows or it creates a wrong impression, or it assumes that the person is mad. So we should enter the room of the interview with a bright and friendly smile. It will create a very confident atmosphere about the candidate. So therefore enter the room with a bright smile on the face, not the laugh. Do dress smartly. I told you already, our dress must be smart, it must be formal, the color must be a very a formal one. It should not be a very dark. Your clothes are old and you have them washed and pressed. Clothes doesn't matter, new clothes are old matter. Just wash them properly and pressed them before going or before facing any interview. Do wear shirt and tie if the interview demands it. If suppose if interview demand any dress code of that particular company, if there is such a dress code for it, as a dress code as then definitely we need to follow the dress code, the tie and shirts and trousers and shoes. If such a dress code is there, we need to be in a very proper way for that interview, with such a way. Do have a basic information about the company or establish in a kind of job they offer. Okay, that already we discussed, that the basic information about the company, about the job, about the organization, that everything we need to collect. And if it is very effectively, if we collect it, then definitely our impression and our entry is going to be successful. This is very important, my dear friend. These are some do's and the don'ts and some basic preparations for the interview. These are the some minor things. Some people will think that these things are very minor things, but these minor things are creating some problem, okay, before the interview. The people, those who are facing the interview. So we need to be very cautious, very careful about the minor matter, major matter, everything we need to be very careful, very cautious, because it is a face-to-face contact. Face-to-face we have to face the interview. Therefore we need to be very cautiously face the interview, friend. Again, there are some more sections, or there are some part of this interview skill. That much we have in this first part of the interview skill. Thank you, my dear friends. Thank you so much.